Can I ask you something? When is the last time you sat down at the end of a homeschool day and actually felt good about it? Not just relieved that you did all the things for the day, but that you did the right thing. If you had to think about that for a second, this video is for you. I'm talking to the mom today who's lying awake at night running through her mental checklist. Did we cover enough math? Are they behind? What are other families doing? Should I switch curricula again? I see you, because I was you. And today I want to share 3 shifts that changed my perspective. And it also changed the perspective of so many moms that I've walked alongside. Welcome back, or welcome for the first time. I'm Teresa Wiedrich, and this is the space for homeschool moms who are done with the overwhelm and ready to build a home education that actually fits their family. Today we're going to have a conversation about self-doubt, shame, and what I call the groupthink trap. I'm sharing 3 shifts that will take you from second-guessing your choices, your homeschool decisions, your family decisions, all the decisions, to walking in real, grounded certainty. So let's get into it. I want to tell you about a mom. When we first began coaching together, she shared with me that she felt lost in her purpose and her community. She was struggling to find grounding in the busyness or the chaos, she said, of her life. She had stopped trusting her instincts. And so she started doing what a lot of us do. She looked for reassurance in other places. Was it family or friends, she said? Podcasts, certainly. Facebook groups. She was searching for someone, anyone, who might tell her she was doing things right. Does that sound familiar? Here's what I shared and what I want to share with you too. It's actually not a flaw. It's what happens when you've been leading everyone else and forgotten to lead yourself. The doubt, the approval seeking, the constant second guessing, that is really just originating from exhaustion and not listening to oneself. And today we're going to address the root of second guessing. Before I dive into the 3 shifts, I want to name something that the doubt you're feeling, it's a sign that you care deeply. That's a good thing. The problem is that it gets hijacked by outside voices, comparison, by a school system that you're constantly reminded has and does different things than you do. The problem is that care, that deep care, gets hijacked by outside voices, by comparison, by a school system that trained us from day one to look for approval from somebody else. These 3 shifts are how you can take that authority back. So shift number 1 is moving from external validation to internal alignment. Here's what I mean. We want to stop looking outward and start listening within. Most of us, dare I say, all of us, grew up in a system that rewarded external approval. Whether that's in a school where you're looking for the A on the test, or a nod from a teacher, or the gold star from someone in authority, we internalize that. And now, without realizing it, we're running our homeschools the same way. We scan curriculum forums. We check if our kids are on grade level, or we look for the provincial or state learning outcomes to make sure that our kids are doing the right things. We're measuring ourselves against the mom in our homeschool co-op. We're online. And I want to say, these people, these voices, they're not your compass. Home education is at its best a radical invitation to define success yourself by your family's values, by the kids and their needs that are right in front of you, by what you know to be true about your kids, because you are with your kids every single day. Hilary's breakthrough came when she started carving out intentional, unapologetic time for herself, what she called her planned meetings, where she was the center of the conversation, not her kids' needs, not her curriculum, not her family's opinions, her. And that's when something shifted. She told me, I realize I can do this without outside approval. So here's your first small practice. Take 10 minutes today, just 10, and journal this question. If I wasn't allowed to look at what anyone else was doing, what would my version of a great homeschool day look like? That answer is your alignment. Start building toward that. Shift number 2 is from doing enough to knowing for sure that you are enough. Let's call it the shame reframe, because it is all about shame. This is likely the shift that could hit you the deepest. because it's the one we're least likely to name. It's never pleasant to talk about shame or how we're feeling shameful. So many moms come to me thinking they have a productivity problem. They think, I can't get it all done. I didn't finish the lesson plan, or we're falling behind. I haven't done everything I said I would do. And on the surface, it looks like a routine or scheduling issue, a time management issue. But here's what I've learned. This is deeply rooted in the work of Brené Brown. What looks like a productivity problem is actually a shame belief in disguise. Underneath all that hustling and second guessing, there's a quiet, painful belief whispering, I'm not enough. Not just I didn't do enough today, but I, as a person, as a mother, as an educator, responsible for my kids, am fundamentally not enough. And that is a lie. But it is a lie that feels deeply true when you're exhausted and stretched and trying to hold everything together. But here's your reframe. Your daily output is not your worth. The days when everything fell apart and you ended up watching documentaries in your pajamas, or even the seasons when you did that, you were still enough. Your kids were still loved. Things still happened. You still did something. And I guarantee you, your kids were still learning. So try this. When the inner critic shows up and says, you didn't do enough, pause and ask, is this a productivity thought, or is this a shame thought? Because they need completely different responses. Productivity thoughts might suggest that you need to adjust the plan. Make a list. Ask yourself if there's too many things on the list. Whereas shame thoughts need compassion, not lists. You cannot organize your way out of shame, but you can learn to recognize it. And that recognition is where your peace begins. The third shift, and I'll be straight with you, this one actually requires more courage than any of them. Here's the groupthink trap. When we outsource our decisions, when we don't trust our values and our instincts, but we ask, what does everyone think? What is the common consensus? What are they saying that we should do? And that groupthink energy, that consensus energy, it can come from anywhere. It's not just this traditional school culture. It can come from a well-meaning family. It can come within religious circles, can come within political circles, certainly homeschool circles with strong opinions about the correct way to educate your child. Community is a gift. I am not saying to go it alone and not be in community, but there is a real difference between learning from community and communing in community and being controlled by it and asking yourself not to think. The shift I'm inviting you into is simply this: permission to ask why. Why are we doing this? Why does this curriculum have to be followed in this order? Why does my 7-year-old need to be on pace with a classroom of kids she's never met? When you begin asking why, you begin thinking for yourself again. Thinking for yourself is not rebellious. It is the whole point of home education. One of my viewers left me a comment that stayed with me. She said, "Thank you for being authentic. Your tribe will find you." I got that because so often we're contorting ourselves to fit into someone else's tribe instead of simply being so fully, authentically ourselves that the right people can't help but find us. Hilary is there now. She's leading her book club. She's setting boundaries. She's living aligned with her values in her homeschool and in her family. She told me she now names her own leadership, not waiting for someone else to hand it to her. That's available to you too. So 3 shifts. 1, from external validation to internal alignment. Your intuition is a valid compass. You get to use it. 2, from doing enough to being enough. You are not your productivity. You need to learn to recognize the shame messages that are interfering with your daily life. And the 3rd shift is from groupthink to individual agency. Ask why. Give yourself permission to do things differently. These shifts don't happen overnight. They definitely did not happen overnight for me. They happened over 2 decades. At this point, probably cumulatively, it is 23 years. These shifts don't happen overnight. They're a practice, but every time you choose to trust yourself just a little more, you are stepping further into the mom and the home educator you were already made to be. Small, consistent shifts can ripple into your family, in your homeschool, your community. Hilary is proof of that. If you're ready to begin trusting yourself again without waiting for someone else to tell you it's okay, here's your next step. Book a free aligned homeschool reset session with me. It's a one-on-one conversation where we map out exactly where you are, where you want to be, and what's actually getting in the way. You can find the link in the description below. I'm looking forward to meeting you. And if you're not quite there yet, I got you. Grab the free self-leadership toolkit. It's a guided journal and email series to help you reconnect with yourself and start making decisions with confidence. You can also find that below. Drop a comment and tell me which of these 3 shifts are you working on right now. I read every single comment. I treat everything, YouTube, socials, Instagram, Facebook, as a real conversation with a real woman on the other side of the screen. So I would love to meet you, and I'd love to hear from you. Which shift do you need most? Share below.